Welcome to our first sprint. Welcome to our first sprint demo for this sprint. Um, and yeah, so team of the future. Moving on to next. So on here, we just got an org chart of all the team roles within the team. So we've got project managers, agile managers, business analysts, scrum masters, data analysts, quality assurance. So these are all the names and the team members within the current team at the moment. Uh, so the agenda for today, so we've got Scrum Master Yutende who'll be speaking first, then we're going to be followed up by the project manager Adisola, and then after that it's going to be the Agile Delivery Manager, which is Miracle. Then it's going to be myself speaking on the behalf of business analyst, and then we've got Boldy who should be speaking on the behalf of data analyst, and quality assurance we've got our very own Keji. Over to yourself, Yutende.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Yetunde, and I'm the Scrum Master lead for this SharePoint project, Sprint 1. We are Team Binary, and the project mandate for this for the project is to deliver a high quality and efficient SharePoint page that will meet the requirements and expectations of our clients. Our goal is to develop the initial SharePoint activity, and the sprint run for 2 weeks, from the 4th of June to the 6th of June, 2024. Next slide, please. We have the team structure. Next slide. We have the team members and their roles on the SharePoint projects. Next slide, please. This is binary team charter. This reminds us of our roles and responsibilities and our commitment towards the goal of the project. Next slide, please. The activities that we have done on the project as Scrum Masters is creating and maintaining the Agile board. We do facilitate the Agile ceremonies like the daily stand-up, where we talk about the project progress, the impediments we have on the project, and how to resolve and mitigate them. We also do the sprint planning. It's a ceremony that we do at the beginning of the sprint. We discuss about the PBIs that we are committing to sprint, and we read the stories, we get clarity, we estimate them before committing them to sprint. We resolve conflicts, we remove impediments, we create and configure the metrics chart and do the estimation. Next slide, please. And this is the escalation process. If we have any issues that we cannot solve at the Scrum Master level, we kind of escalate it to the ADM and down till it gets to someone who can resolve it in the organization or the stakeholders. Next slide, please. That's our capacity planning, and it simply identify how many hours it will require us to do our task, and it determines if the team have the available resources to complete the task. Next slide, please. Sorry. Okay. These are the impediments we experienced during the project. Inaccurate estimation point, insufficient team capacity, late onboarding of the team, untimely access to SharePoint and projects board. Next slide, please.
1 minute left.
These are the mitigation processes, or the way we're able to mitigate the issues we had. Coaching to ensure that the team understands the use of estimation techniques and use them in appropriate ways. Self-development on how to use the SharePoint. Quick escalation to the ADM when it's beyond the SM. Next slide, please. This is our metrics board, and it's to track the progress of work. We have the velocity chart. We have the effort burn down chart. Next slide, please. These are Scrum ceremonies. We have the daily stand-up. We do it daily, and it's time boxed for 15 minutes. The sprint planning is done bi-weekly.
Time's up.
Done on the first day of of the sprint. Next slide, please.
Time's up.
Okay, next slide, please. These are our tools. Next slide, please. The project board. Next slide. The PBIs. Next slide, please. The cumulative flow diagram. Next slide. This is our definition of ready. Next. Our definition of done. Next. Because of the peculiarity of the project, we, the SMs, did the development. This is the team logo and the team description. The deliverables for sprint 1. Next slide. This is our SharePoint page on the SharePoint page. This is our team details. You find it on the SharePoint. The team folder. Next slide, please. Terms of use. Team details. Next slide. Thank you very much.
Hi, good evening. My name is Adesola Ali, and I'm a project manager. Next slide, please. Okay, so I'm going to explain the tasks that we PMs were given the responsibility to conduct while working alongside with the DAs. So one of them was to collate and compile a table of attendance record of the BAs and QAs to then give back to the DAs. So since we have been asked to be recording the attendance, we thought it was best to just create an Excel spreadsheet that records the attendance for all roles. So here is a snapshot of sprint 1 attendance. And of course, at this time, it hasn't been fully updated. But as you can see, we have the key and the meeting color code to help specify the type of meetings we were having in each day. Next slide, please. So at the end of each sprint, there's a column to calculate the individual's present and absent percentage. So this helps to reflect or rather measure each individual's commitment to the internship. I want to just quickly add that just last weekend, I got to realize that a few PMs that were supposed to be on the team binary group chats were not there. So like people like Rachel and Damlare, who just joined not so long ago, they weren't on the group chat, so they were not getting any like link to the team's daily stand-up. So going off the spreadsheet, it may appear that they were not really like committing to the intern, but that's not the case. So next slide, please. And that's the rest of it. Next slide. So moving on, the other task was to record the Azure board activities. So since it's all about giving data to the DAs, we had to make sure that all information was clearly presented for them to then do the analysis. So for each user story, we specified the PBI number, the title of the story, who created it, their role, who it was assigned to, the person's role, the status, and the last user. So the person that last worked on that user story, and also the time taken. Next slide, please. So we felt it was very important to highlight any data or information that is deemed to be an error or mistake. So by pointing this out to them, I feel like we thought that it would make the analysis more easier. Next slide. Oh, that's it. Thank you.
Okay. There we go. Then, our terms. Here are and I'll just want to tell you what. So, it's one. So, like, okay. The first one will look at digest the PBIs with that previous analysis. Yeah. And the second one will always checking the page to ensure that the part is the second page according to what this analysis, which is very important. Every day, check up me and like check the page, make sure if there's any concern all the developer involved. And I think there was the time I got it today and asked Oturayo to confirm if something has been done, and she told me the that she had, and I was able to sort it out for it to go for that. Next one, we will also ensure that we back on time and everyone is carrying that out. So it's responsibility to ensure it's been delivered. So because I work closely with Scrum Masters to ensure it's been delivered. Next one is we also ensure everyone have Agile DevOps, delivered as well. So I know there was one particular person that will have difficulty getting it right, for which we solve with the help of the Scrum Master. Our reason being that the person submitted two or more email addresses, and we're able to resolve that and other people too. And in this sprint, we work closely with Scrum Master. I will also ensure all the issues that were escalated were treated properly. Once we can, basically, I usually escalate it to either the team.
Yeah, so hello everyone. So my name is Jack. So I'll be covering the work that we've done throughout the sprint for this first sprint. So first what I want to cover is key meetings that we had. So normally bi-weekly or every Saturday we go through a PBI approval with the PO. So she looks at our PBIs, goes through the definition of ready to ensure that all user stories, acceptance criteria, and wireframes have been completed. We've run sprint planning sessions off the back of those calls. We've also had a wireframe workshop, which I'll be showing you wireframes that the team have completed. We also had a Visio installation workshop as well, which is used to create mind maps and process maps. We had a process map / user journey map session. And we had 3 catch-ups for PBI reviews with Emmanuel, who talked us through a bit of the business case process map, as well as writing effective user stories. And like I said, every Saturday we more or less catch up with our product owner to go through the product backlog items to make sure they meet the definition ready before committing to a sprint. So I'm not going to cover too much in terms of the product mandate. I think Yetunde covered this already, but the purpose of this was to create and develop a SharePoint portal for all the team members in Team Binary. Objectives were to build a clear web page where everyone within the team can go to as one single source of truth, can go there, get information, put information, and just kind of sort of see team updates. Key deliverables was for the BAs was to write user stories, acceptance criteria in order for the team to start developing these. Communication, we communicate obviously on Zoom for these type of meetings, as well as Teams, as well as Telegram. And the approval process, like I said, all of our user stories need to meet the definition already before they can be committed into a sprint. So before we started the sprint, a lot of us didn't have an idea of what SharePoints were, so we've done a bit of research to look at SharePoints, just to sort of ruffle out some ideas of what they look like. So these are some of the screenshots that we grabbed in terms of the little research that we've done. Off the back of the process map session, we done a mind map. So this is the SharePoint, as you can see in the middle there. We've got the header, team details, footer, team document library. So we kind of mapped it out in terms of how we want it to look. If you look on the right-hand side, that is the team SharePoint portal that's been created on Azure DevOps. So as you can see, we've got the epic, we've got the feature as well as the stories in there. And I will be covering the user stories once I'll get to that page. But as you can see, we've got some which have been completed. So we've got 3 so far. We've got a lot of stories in QA. Some have been approved and been ready to commit it to a sprint, and some are still in QA. So we've kind of made good traction on those. PBIs created, so I'll kind of talk you through to the board. So the new column is basically when we after the elicitation session, we'll with a PO, we'll put the stories on the board. Once we start working on it as BAs, we'll put it in BA. So this is when we are refining it, writing that user stories, creating wireframes. Once we're finished, we move it into BA done. And this is know, this is to send to the PO to let her know that these have been finished. Once the PO is happy with the requirements that have been written in terms of the user stories, acceptance criteria, and wireframes, then she moves it into approved. Then it goes off to the team, and then once it goes back into UAT, so that means it's all been completed, testing that's been completed, then we close it off. So this is a screenshot of our board a few days ago. Obviously now it's updated, but this is what it looks like currently at the moment. Wireframe. So off the back of the session, we use, I can never say that word, Velasquez, something like that. But these are some of the wireframes that the team have completed. So obviously you've got project name, you've got general folder, description text, as well as team details. On the right-hand side, you can see some of the user stories that we have created. So we use the Gherkin syntax. So you can see we've got as a, I want to, so that, as well as
1 minute left.
Given, thank you, given, when, then. So wireframes, as well as the user stories that we've created that I spoke about. So lessons learned. So I'll just kind of briefly cover this a little bit. So lessons learned is one, is we need to obviously have clear communications within the BAs, to have regular catch-ups in terms of what our priorities are, what we're working on, and how we can obviously work better as a team. We need to obviously align more in terms of team meetings throughout the whole sprint. Get together to write user stories, write wireframes. But apart from that, it's been a good first sprint. But obviously we're going to be improving as and when we go on. Thank you very much, all. Over to Bodhi.
Is Bodhi Dogonjai, the DA lead. We had a very good sprint. Please give me the slide. Okay, so these are the activities that the DAs had during this sprint. We were introduced to the overview of data analysis, the role of data analysts, the objectives, and the tools that we use, which include the Tableau, Power BI, the SQL, and the Excel. Next slide. This is the proficiency that we gain in Tableau. We were taught the installation of the Tableau public desktop application. We were taught how to extract data from the source for the purpose of visualization. We were taught creative visualization using the measures of dimensions, such as bar charts and the rest, and then the use of dashboard for visualization. Next slide. So we created a dashboard in Tableau, and this is an overview of Amazon top 20 sales by product category and seller. This is a summary of what one of the classes we had. Next slide, please. Proficiency gained in Power BI includes installation of Power BI desktop application and SQL Server Management Studio, importing data onto the SSMS, and sorting the data. Next slide. Proficiency gained in SQL includes the introduction to SQL, which is standard query language, the types of query languages available, the most common used SQL commands, the use of partial select and the where clauses, the use of distinct and working on calculated field. Next slide, please. Then we go to the task that we were given during the course of this sprint. We created dashboard and the visualization of a discussion that we had in class by our instructor. We were told to create the visualization. This is what you see there right now. Sales by day of ship and moving average, and then the discounts on sale by category for Amazon project. Next slide, please. The second task we're given is to visualize the activities of the BA on their backlog items. And to your left is the overview of the BAs by the PBI that were assigned to them and the PBI that they created. And to your right is the assigned work items to the BAs. Next slide, please. This is an overview of the activities of the QA based on the PBI that were assigned to them. We can see that KG was assigned 3, and then we can see that for the others, as at the time the data was presented, was not probably because it was not indicated as such that it was assigned. And then these are the down is the number of PBIs created by each
1 minute left.
QA. Next slide, please.
Thank you, Bade.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is KG. I'll be taking you through the QA slides. Thank you. So this is our team structure. We've got test managers, or should I say test mentors. We've got Alex, Rita, and Rexford, and I'm the QA lead. And we've got Davis and Nathan as the should I say assistants. And we've got Edwin, Omi, as well as Adebayo. Thank you. Next slide. So in the last couple of weeks, we've been able to identify our roles and responsibilities. And for the purpose of this project, some of the roles will be merged together. So we've got our test managers, and our test mentors will be acting as our test managers, and they'll be validating our test results as well as documentations, etc., for the purpose of this project. Also, we the QAs will also be acting as the testers as well as the QA analysts. And what we do is basically we document the test case, we design the test case as well as execute test cases, reporting defects or bugs, and we always have our weekly working session. So in this working session, this is where we discuss any issues that we've identified during testing, any blockers or anything. This is separate from the daily stand-up in the binary team call. The developers, as Yetunde mentioned earlier, developers are also the SMs, and so they would be working on creating the SharePoint site as well as trying to fix any defect if identified. Next slide. So what we've also done in the last couple of weeks is we've been able to create our test plan document, and that's been attached or embedded within the body of this document. Basically, the test plan outlines what our scope, our approach, and the resources will be needed during the testing activities. What sort of testing we're going to be carrying out, how many resources we require, etc., for the testing activity. And also we've been able to complete a test strategy document. And basically what the test strategy document does is to describe the testing approach of the software cycle. Also, it provides rational, sorry, I'm just reading off the screen at the moment. It also creates it's like a plan to show what our daily structure would look like, what we'll be doing, the time we're going to be using to test, and how we're going to be reporting bugs identified, etc. So all of that has been embedded within the body of the document. So I won't be going through it during this presentation. Next slide, please. And here, this is just a snapshot of what we've done for our first sprint. So during our first sprint, we were individually assigned to a PBI ticket, and each of the QAs have been able to go in to execute testing. However, it's manual testing we carried out for now, and by Wednesday, we'll be introducing automation testing. So far, at the time, I didn't record the test results, but so far, I believe we have about 6 to 8 pass on the PBIs. And we currently logged in 2 failed tests scripts, and we've been able to identify the bug, and that was recorded on DevOps, and that was taken from new into committed, and the BAs have been able to rectify that, and so they've moved that into UAT, and also they've also completed that, so they were able to move that into the UAT done. And I've also left to check, thank you. I've also gone back to check the bug if it's actually correct, and everything looks correct and fine now. So this list is currently updated with us right now. And the last slide basically is just showcasing again an example of how we wrote our test cases, but these are the non-mandatory test cases that were assigned to us because we wanted to have an extra practice outside of DevOps. So each QA had about 4 test cases to write, and this is just the extra ones that we wrote. We just put that on Excel. So this is what we've achieved so far in the last couple of weeks during our first sprint. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you all. Our team binary, any questions?
Lead for team Agile. Sorry, my name is Bukola. I'm the team lead for SMs of Team Agile. And tonight we are presenting what we have done. Apologies that the slides are coming in different formats. We go ahead. So tonight, the role leads are for me, Bukola, for PMs is Onome, for the DAs is Paradise, for BAs is Remy, and for the, for the QAs, sorry, there was an error. For the QAs is for Kazim. So I will go ahead and do the introduction I will present first the overview of Sprint 1 activities, a demonstration of completed work, challenges and resolution. So starting with the number of team members in the SM's team, we were assigned 6 team members, but only 3 people have been active. The other 3, they have not showed up at all. And I will go ahead with tasks completed by the Scrum Master. Oh, sorry. Just, can you please stop the recording? These are the, during the sprint planning, these were the PBIs that were committed to. We were only able to commit 9 PBIs, and that's what we were able to commit to then. During the sprint, the SMs completed the following tasks. We onboarded team members. We set up the Azure DevOps board. We collated email addresses and onboarded every team as team members onto the Azure board. We facilitated Sprint 1 planning and committed PBIs. We created the team charter using the Miro board. We onboarded team members on the Miro board. We facilitated daily stand-up. We were able to get access to the SharePoint very late, so we could not start our project on time. Eventually, we were able to collect email addresses of all team members and were able to onboard them on the SharePoint. We met with the mentors to sort out the SharePoint because at the beginning we had a bit of a challenge understanding what we need to do, how we need to go about the SharePoint development. And we were able to develop the team charter to an extent. We've not been able to complete it. We ensured we followed the escalation process to remove impediment for team members, and we maintained the team attendance. In these are the part we committed. Part of the committed PBIs is PBI for the team header, which consisted of the team name, team logo, organization logo, tagline, project name, the release date, and about us. This is a sample, a screenshot of the team header, the SharePoint header, which we developed. Then the other PBI that we committed to was development of the team details, which is as seen in the screenshot. And when you click on it, it shows the team details as seen here. Then also team information, which is here, which we committed to, part of the PBI is committed to. And this is the team information that that shows up when you click on the team information tab. Also, we committed to develop the link to helpful resources. And this is a screenshot of it from the SharePoint page. And when you click on the helpful resources, it generates
1 minute left.
this. Then the challenges we had issue delayed with onboarding team members. A lot of team members were onboarded late on the Azure board because, for different reasons, we had to chase up, and setting up access to SharePoint was a bit of a challenge, and coordination of team member schedule. A lot of team members, our timings are different, so we're not able to meet up as much as we ought to. And one team member is yet to be added to the Azure board. I was told that they could not find the name of the team member, and this has been an issue because he has not been able to partake in all the tasks that has been assigned to the QAs. So we followed for resolution, we followed the escalation process, the complete onboarding process. We worked with the admin team for SharePoint and facilitated communication and stand-ups. So the next team to go is Onome. Please go ahead.
Hello, everybody. Good evening. I will be sharing the report for the project management team. Next slide, please. All right. So these are the active members within the project management team. Next slide. So the activities that we covered in this sprint. So we had 2 projects that we're working on. We're working on the project SharePoint with the rest of the Scrum team. And then we also have a project that we're working on called Project Legacy, which we do with other PMs. So we have a book that we're reading for this sprint, and it's titled The Brilliant Project Management by Cole and Barker. We attended all our trainings, we participated in Scrum ceremonies, we supported everything that the Scrum team was doing. We also supported the DAs with resolving impediments whenever they had issues, particularly with their task of collating attendance for the team. We escalated and we made sure that all the necessary things that they needed to complete their task was available. Next slide, please. All right, so this is just a screenshot of the book we are reading. It's a very, very, very lovely book. It's a brilliant book, like the title says. And then one thing that we did in this sprint was to create a swim lane for the DAs on the Azure DevOps dashboard. So because they also have their own tasks, so they created their tasks, as you can see from the screenshots, but we created a swim lane for them, which is separate to the BAs and the QAs swim lane. Next slide, thank you. Okay, so everybody on the team had highlighted everything that they did. I'm just going to quickly breeze through them. But as I said, it was a collective effort, so we created a swim lane. Personally, I followed up with the DAs on their tasks, escalated impediments. We also participated in the Scrum ceremonies, as I said. We contributed to the development of the team charter. We prepared presentation slides for the PM trainings, which was a weekly thing. So everybody on our team, they created slides ahead of our weekly meetings. We developed project brief and RACI matrix. Next slide. The next couple of slides are, everyone, like the list of what everybody else did. So this is what Catherine did. This is what Oluwabumi did. You see Wumi is in the next slide as well. Yeah, thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Remy, and I'm the BA lead for Team Agile for Sprint 1. And I'll be going through what the team had during Sprint 1. Next slide, please. Sorry, can you go to the next slide? Okay, the agenda we have, we just do a brief recap of what we have in Sprint 0. Sprint 0, the Sprint 1, when we have the project Monday, then the requirement elicitation, team participation, then the task completed by a team member. So I'll just go over this one after the other. Next slide, please. Sprint 0, during this Sprint 0, we attended all sessions during Sprint 0, where we gained insight into all the different roles. This helped us to know what's the different roles, what what they're up to and what our contribution is. So that's basically. Then for sprint 1, we had a project mandate, and the duration for sprint 1 is just 2 weeks. We started on the 4th of June to 17th of June 2024. And the project name, what we're working on, the project we're working on is Project SharePoint. As the sprint goal is to develop a new SharePoint page to improve internal collaboration and document repository. Next slide, please. Then during the elicitation, we elicited a documented requirement for the new projects with the PO. After we elicited the requirements, we documented them, and we created EPIC features and PBI for the requirements elicited. Then we created user stories and acceptance criteria for the development of the SharePoint page. Then we also developed wireframes for the new SharePoint page, and we facilitated refinement meetings with a PO. Can we go to the next slide, please? Team participation. As a team, we attended the daily stand-up, the DSU. We also attended planning and refinement meetings, and we attended the sprint review and the retrospective. Still follow up on the team members' participation and tasks completed. We have the list of the team members. Basically, we have most of the teams active. And the tasks completed by each of the team member, the user stories and the acceptance criteria written by each team member during the sprint 1. We only have one member that is not active. The name is Adeola. She's not been, I don't know whether it's a she or he, but whoever the person is has not been active. Then Goodluck Okote, though he's been active, but the challenge we had with him was because it took a long time before he was able to be onboarded on Azure board. By that time, we've already assigned all the user stories and we've already assigned all the PBIs for sprint 1 requirement. So that was why I was not able to participate in the writing of user stories and this acceptance criteria for sprint 1. But for sprint 2, he's been assigned PBI. Next slide, please. Team members' participation. This is just what individuals has been up to, the tasks they've completed, and what they've been doing since the beginning of the internship. So we have Rose Adewale. This is what she had, the elicitation of requirement with the PO. Then she was active in populating the Azure board, design wireframe, execution of definition of done and definition of ready for the team. And she also participated in the refinement exercise. Then we have Temi Shadari, which she was also involved in elicitation requirement from the PO, then creation of PBI. She's also an active member. Can you go to the next slide, please? Okay, this is team participation. This is for Remy Kadri as the BA coordinator for Team Agile and Sprint 1. Attended all sessions and recorded all sessions and sent link to different orgs. Then attended all daily stand-up. Then facilitated requirements, meetings with the PO alongside the other BAs, and assist some members of the team to review their user stories ahead of the sprint refinement with the PO. I think that's all. Okay, this is just a screenshot of the user stories, or some of the user stories. We can't put everything, so we just had to put a few of the user stories and acceptance criteria written by the team members.
Time's up.
Thank you.
Okay. Sorry, my system is freezing. Okay. Paradise, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I'm going to be taking us through some of the things we did as data analysts in Team Agile. Next slide, please. Next slide. Oh God, the colors are now different. So generally, in my team, there are 4 of us, and 4 of us participated actively over 90% attendance in the DSUs and team meetings. And as a guild, we met once to figure out how to use the Azure board, create our task, and then be able to deliver. And we've collaborated effectively to support each other along the way. For this sprint, we have 3 major tasks that we were asked to deliver. And one is to collate the numbers of stories and acceptance criteria by BAs, and then numbers of stories committed by QAs, and the number of tasks assigned to and delivered by DAs in the team. And we all did this assignment. So going forward, I will just show some of the works and some of the tasks that the team members delivered, but then I will focus on the one I did to do the explanation. So the first person on our list is Adolisa Okafor. This is visualization task that we were given to generate a visualization from a data given to us by our Tableau instructor trainer about sales, Amazon sales. And some of us used the data from the Amazon sales, others used another data, which was on sales too, but not the Amazon sales. So this is Ada's visualization. Please, the next one. This is Ada's work too on the attendance and the stories created and committed by PAs and QAs, as well as the task given and delivered by GAs. Please, next slide. And the next person is Sarah Alabi, and this is her visualization created on Tableau dashboard about the sales, where here she's highlighting maps showing sales by region and the rest. Please go to the next slide. And yep, this is Sarah's work too. The next one. And this is the attendance for Team Agile for this sprint, Sarah's work as well. Please keep going. Next slide. And yeah, this is Sarah's work as well. Next slide. Okay, so this is mine. I'll be able to explain the task better with the one I did. So this is my visualization created on the Tableau dashboard about the sales. So on the first chart there, you can see product category sales and profit across years. On the dashboard, it will be interactive, but here we just have to deal with the picture. And on the total sale and profit by region, where you have the map, on interactive dashboard, when you hover around each region, you would see the total sale and profit generated across region. And on the down right-hand side, you'd see profit by category and region across across the various regions. So you can see how profit has either increased or declined across this region, and in the different category of sales like furniture, office supplies, and technology. Please, next slide. And the attendance, I used a simple table, Excel table, and I just coded 1 for those who attended and 0 for not attended. And we have just one NS, which is showing not sure. The person was not quite sure if they attended that one. If you look at the information table on the top right corner, you see that the number of people in the team is 46, and the number of times we met 11 times. And that is just the code. 1 means attended, 0 means not attended, and NS not sure. So number of inactive teammates, there are 15 people who, according to the data we got, are not active. And there are 31 active people. And the visualization, you see just right down there, the number of people in the group. You have 15 people, 15 BAs 4 DAs and 9 PMs and 11 QAs and 6 SMs. And this goes a long way to show that in the previous visualization we saw, like Adolisa's work, you would see that it appeared as though more BAs attended more meetings and DSUs, but that could also be as a result of the number compared to the DAs, where it appeared as though DAs were not attending quite frequent. Meanwhile, all the DAs in the team attended over 90% attendance of this meeting. So next slide. So here is also just a very simple table for number of stories committed by QAs in the team. And we have their list here from Mobalaji to Omolara, and QAs, all of them committed 5 stories each. And stories and acceptance criteria written by the BAs. Remy wrote 3, and Gladys did not impute any for herself, and Adewale 3 and 1 for sprint 2, but I think he actually meant 0 and 1, but we just had to work with the data given to us. And then Kemi 4 and Adeoye has 3. Next slide, please. And this is the very last of my own work, where we have list of data analysts. However, Adolisa, who is the third data analyst here, has done part of our task, but I generated this work as at the 14th of June. As seen above there, all the data used were data available as at the 14th of June 2024. So any changes on the sheet or the data after that time was not captured in the analysis. And next slide, we have the third person, Babajide, who unfortunately we did not get any submission from his end for this print. Thank you very much.
Recording. Kazim or Simon?
Good evening, everyone. My name is Kwazim Sani, and I'll be representing the QA team. So this is the end of sprint review, end of sprint 1 review. The next slide, please. This is the names of everyone in the team, and everyone has been active. Every single member of the QA team has been active. I think only 2 people are still yet to have access to the Azure board. Next slide, please. Yes, this is a table of content, test plan, test strategy, and the test case summary. We had to work on the test plan and the test strategy first, as it is a prerequisite to the test case stacks. Next slide, please. This is the table of content for the test plan. Next slide, please. Table of content for, sorry, the slide before, please. Yeah, table of content for test strategy. Next slide, please. This is the test case summary. So, project name, SharePoint, test manager, DG, the date, May, June, the test prepared by me, QA lead, and the test objective to test input and output of the functionality of SharePoint page application to ensure product quality. And the test approach, the test type is use case testing, black box testing, equivalence class partition, regression testing. Test level is user acceptance testing, integration testing, system testing. So the test case is designed, the total test cases designed was 47. The unique PBIs covered was 14. Next slide, please. These are the numbers of the PBI we worked on. So for the first PBI, 961, total of 5 people worked on it. The second one was a total number of 6. 963 was a total number of 5. 96995, a total number of 7 people. 9697, total number of 6, 969, total number of 4, 9708, total number of 7, 9709, total number of 5, 9718, total number of 5, 98821, 99061. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. So this is the PBI number, bulk ration, status, severity. Next slide, please. So summary for summary of test cases passed and failed. So there's a total number of pass percentage prior to bug phases was 33.3%. Fail percentage prior to bug phases was 66.6%. Pass percentage was 100% because all bugs were resolved. Fail percentage post bug phases was 0%. So conclusion: the testing effort is Prince 1 involved designing and executing a significant number of test cases for various aspects of SharePoint page. Despite few initial failures, all identified bugs were fixed and closed, leading to 100% pass rate post bug fixes. The detailed and structured approach ensures comprehensive coverage and robust quality assurance to SharePoint project. Thank you.